Hello. Okay, so today I wanted to talk a little bit about just some thoughts on envy, and I'm just going to be speaking from experience and what I've found has helped me like free myself up and like make use of envy as like a very powerful visceral feeling. Um, and periodically I'm going to be looking down because I wrote out all my thoughts just because it helps me get my thoughts together and have clarity. Um, so first of all, there's a little bit of difference between jealousy and envy. Jealousy, when you look it up, it actually is like referring to like more like relationship jealousy. So like jealousy happening maybe between like three people, and a jealousy between, one person and the other, like about another person. So it's more relational. So today I'm going to be talking more about envy, which envy is more so, a wanting, a desiring what someone else has, and that feeling causing like a lot of internal discomfort. And then outwardly, we don't usually show that to people. We usually, internally maybe have some strong feelings about this person, or some feelings of resentment, bitterness, judgment, things like that. So I'm going to be talking about envy. I'm going to be talking about what to do when that comes up, and a method that I found very helpful to like free myself of that emotion, not get rid of it, but use it as a way to learn more about myself, and then use it as a way to move forward in a productive way. So I'm going to read a little bit. I think envy is one of the most common covert emotions experienced from being online. Like, inherently as human beings, we're constantly paying attention to one another. And now that we have like unlimited access to people inside their lives at all times, I think envy is it's all over, and we're probably all collectively experiencing it pretty intensely. Because we're entered into the space of photos, videos, posts, shorts. There's just endless exposure to everyone, and all of it is evidence that we are, lacking compared to all these other people in like 1,000 different ways. So for envy to occur, we're taking in the sight of someone, like we're visual creatures, we're taking in the sight of someone, and then we're mentally assessing them as better than us in some way. And this is all happening really quickly. Like, we're just mentally processing this really kind of, it's out of our hands a little bit almost, or these emotions of envy surface kind of up on their own. So we see someone, we recognize something that maybe they have inherently, something they've achieved, something that they've earned. And then we react to it. And then this emotion of envy also implies that not only do they have something I don't have, but I am like less than them. And there's a sense of not okayness. Like, I'm not okay because maybe they're in the room, or I'm not okay because they exist at all, and they're proving that, I'm not doing enough in my life. I feel like envy can be hidden quite a bit. So hidden envy might look like seeing someone and saying in your mind, just, thoughts like, wow, she looks like she's really wealthy. And then having another thought like, I bet she's really shallow. I feel bad for her. So a lot of times envy kind of comes in disguise. It's like, because it's uncomfortable just to feel less than. So we kind of turn it around, flip it around, and be like, I bet they're a bad person. so I don't have to feel that discomfort of maybe they have this great thing that I want to, and they're a good person and they deserve it. That's a really uncomfortable feeling. Okay, so what does envy do to us? You know, we're constantly taking it in all the time, and if we're not processing it and doing something about it, then it's just kind of accumulating, stacking on top of itself. So if envy is left untouched, unacknowledged, envy gradually makes us feel smaller and smaller, like our lives are a disappointment, and we feel like we're not doing enough and we just can't keep up. And then also envy rarely affects that person that we feel envy towards. It's only us that is kind of burdened under this weight of feeling like, just that icky, gross feeling, of feeling resentment, bitterness, judgmental, feelings of embarrassment and shame about, my own life. So overall, unchecked envy is making us judgmental and grouchy, and it's not helpful if we don't address it. So here is the purpose of this video. These are the things that I have learned after experiencing years and years and years of intense envy. So here's what I've learned. Number one, envy is like a metal detector. It's actually really cool once you understand how envy works. So envy is like a metal detector in that, like a metal detector that you're, I've never actually done this, but walking around on a beach, like searching, you have no idea where, something might be lurking underneath the surface, and then something beeps and you can, dig right there on that spot and understand or find it. And so, like the metal detector, we are walking around in the world all the time and taking in so much information, and envy it's not surfacing all of the time. Let's say you go through a walk through town, maybe somewhere where there's other people. Everyone you see is not inciting a feeling of envy. You might see random person, pretty neutral, no feelings towards them. They're just a stranger. And then you might see someone else walking down the street, and something about them in particular that you notice lights a fire of envy. And it might be intense or it might be really subtle, but just like a metal detector, ping, something goes off. And so I think that's so interesting because envy is our intuition, our body communicating something to us. So here's just an example. So I'm, talking to somebody or in a group of people, and people are just chatting about things that they're interested in, things they're doing lately. And people are talking about skiing and snowboarding or going rock climbing. And these are cool things. These are interesting things, but I've tried these things, snowboarding, skiing, and rock climbing, and I just never really got into it. So I could idly listen to someone, be interested in their experience, but I have no feeling of envy or jealous or envy. But in the past, this has happened for real, many times. As soon as someone mentions something that I have an interest in, maybe they're taking a salsa class, dance classes, or art classes, or they're currently writing a book, or they're planning a big trip that they're really excited about, and sharing that with me. I, on one level, am listening, excited for them, and then on the kind of underneath level, there's a little spark of envy. And as I've paid closer and closer attention to that feeling, I've realized that envy only occurs when somebody, that we're seeing or having a conversation with or interacting with online, envy only happens if something's going on there that means something to me, that is, matters to me in some way. So it's information, for one. So something to remember, A, that envy is a metal detector. It's a detector of things that matter. And two, envy is admiration that has become warped by kind of our egos and feelings of like, if this person has this, like I have less of that, there's less of that in the world for me. They're a threat to me, fulfilling my whatever it is that that is bringing stuff up. So envy is admiration that has become warped, distorted, and it's our job to put it back together so that it is again admiration. So just remember that feeling envy, there's something about this particular person that I admire. Okay, so here's going to be a quick walkthrough with an example from my own life of how I walk through this, how I walk from envy to peace again, peace and inspiration. So number one, feeling the feeling of envy. Number two, what is it exactly that I admire about this person? If envy is admiration in disguise, like what do I admire right now? Like what is significant about this person? Why am I pinging right now? And get really specific and list out the specific things you admire. And just like a hint, it's not always what you think it is. Sometimes it's going to surprise you. And then number three, once you list out all the aspects about this person that you actually admire, what are small things, small ways that I can begin to integrate those aspects of that person into my own life? Okay, so that's kind of a lot. So here's an example. There is or was a woman who worked at a local restaurant where I live, and I had a client because I was doing caregiving, and so my client really liked this place, so we would go there all the time. And this woman, there was a lot of people working there, but this woman in particular pinged. She was, pinged my metal detector. So, and on the surface, I just assumed it was just because she's beautiful. She was gorgeous. And, there was just something about her that made me immediately compare myself to her and to feel kind of down about just my own self and the classic like envy spiral. So then remembering like this method, when I thought about it later, about like, why is it this particular woman that like really like, incited these feelings of envy? And I realized once I started, I think I just made a mental list. I don't think I actually wrote it down, but writing it down might be really helpful. I started to list in my head like, what is it about in particular? Because beauty is so abstract. Like, what does that mean? And so, what I found that was that I loved her posture, and also that she was like visibly really strong. Like she looked like she put a lot of time into like lifting weights, and it showed. And she walked around really proud and strong looking and beautiful. To me, that's what feels beautiful to me, is when I feel really strong. And so once I realized that's what I admire about this person, she's strong. And at that time, I had stopped lifting weights for years. I did other things that, kept me active, but I'd kind of lost the touch with this strength part of myself. And that's what was pinging for me, was I miss being strong. And so I took the envy, I identified why am I feeling this way in particular, and then I understood where there was a lack in my life, and not, a lack in myself, or, that there's something intrinsically not good enough for me, but just a place in my life where I could push a little bit. And so that inspired me to get back into weightlifting. And now I feel that feeling of strength again. So overall, the whole goal of this is to not get rid of the feeling of envy. Because as I've talked about this whole video, envy is actually a really interesting, informative emotion that we can use to direct our decisions on where we are to go next in our lives. You know, what needs pushing? What are we ignoring that we actually deeply want to pursue, to try, to learn about, to integrate into our own lives. So I hope that is helpful. I'm going to post a link in the description of my writing on this topic, and break it down into bullet points. And sometimes it's more helpful for me to read something and internalize it. So, all right, good luck out there. And I hope that the next time you experience a strong feeling of envy, you can go through this process and feel inspired instead of down on yourself. All right. Talk to you next time.